Hey, Mercedes here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to ask a small favor. We have a super short audience survey in our show notes that I'd love for you to fill out. It just asks how you heard about the show and what kind of bonus content you might want to see in the future. It takes just a couple of minutes, and we really appreciate your feedback on making the dish even better. Thanks so much. You may think you love pizza, but Brittany March really loves pizza. And she always has.
I love pizza so much, my mom would say, no, I'm not getting you a pizza. You can eat what's here. If you want pizza, you got to get your own money. Me and my friend would paint rocks, go around the subdivision, sell the rocks, and we'd come back with at least $10 to go get pizza. As a kid, I could go to one birthday party, eat Hungry Howie's, could go to another, eat Domino's, go to another and eat Little Caesars, and then still come home and maybe get a frozen one and eat that. I just have always loved pizza.
Today, Brittany March is the chef owner of It's Food Detroit, a pop-up specializing in Detroit-style vegan pizza.
Buddy's has a vegan pizza. Moots has, I think, a vegan pie. Michigan and Trumbull, they have vegan options, but there's nothing like a pizzeria that's vegan-centered and that other people can still have stuff. Shout out to Pie Side, Grandma Bob's, all have great vegan options, but looking to do something a little bit different on the vegan scale and be on the east side, right? When it comes to pizza and how I grew up eating it, I don't want to jam the vegan plant-based thing on people, right? But I primarily want people to know our identity is vegan, right? I'm vegan. You don't have to be vegan. But if you want to have good food and you're a vegan, this is your home.
I'm Mercedes, and this is The Dish, a podcast celebrating Michigan's incredible culinary talent. Today, we meet a Detroiter putting a unique local spin on an American classic, and the community helping bring her upcoming brick-and-mortar to life. Pizza is part of so many childhood memories. For me, it was Godfather's Pizza. But it hasn't been a straight path to pizza perfection for Brittany. She currently operates a weekend pop-up while raising money for her own restaurant. And during the week, she's got a whole other job. She's a maintenance supervisor for Otis Elevators.
I am out of the house by 5:30. I'm at my desk or at a job site by 6. Mondays, I run a safety meeting for the whole entire mechanic base that's in service. So that's at 8:15. Tuesday, I'm with the sales rep, going to customer meetings, ensuring that our customers are okay. Wednesday, Thursday, repeat, going in the field, surveying job sites, talking to mechanics at my desk, doing paperwork.
But her pizza love never really went away.
Friday at 4 or 5 p.m., I turn it right into pizza. Right, I come here, I'm doing inventory, seeing if we need boxes. I'm checking the kitchen. I'm cleaning the kitchen because there's so many community things going on.
In addition to her elevator job, Brittany March is the chef owner of It's Food Detroit, a pop-up specializing in Detroit-style vegan pizza. How did you go from elevator maintenance supervisor to the pizza?
I just realized one day that I want to eventually set myself up to work for myself. And I went to Northwood University and majored in advertising marketing. I've always had a business sense. I wanted to do something that had a social responsibility. And I always knew possibly it would be a restaurant. Have a restaurant where kids get out of school, they can come get a slice of pizza. I just wanted to do something that, one, where I was working for myself, two, where I could engage with the community, and I felt the best way to do that would be to open up a restaurant.
While Brittany doesn't quite have her own brick and mortar yet, she's well on her way to realizing this vision. It's Food Detroit started as a vegan pop-up that's had a few different homes over the years. But these days, Brittany works out of the kitchen at Alkebulan Village, a community center on Harper Ave on the east side of Detroit.
Harper is just a dynamic street. We have a pizza on the menu on Sundays that's named after the street. It is the center of, hustle on the east side. I mean, it connects you to Grosse Pointe. It connects you to so many small businesses that were in existence. Harpo's, right? Chantel's. I can go on and on and on.
Kitty corner from the Alkebulan building, there's a large mural on all four walls surrounding a DTE substation. It features both children and instructors from Alkebulan's past and present against a bright blue sky.
Different artists came and they presented a story about what a Kebulan is. So this was done, I think, last year. The girl in the white coat, chef coat, is supposed to be me because I do New York style pizza too. But it's just a beautiful painting. You go down here, you'll see these are real people who keep this place alive. So to see the neighborhood kind of uplift itself means a lot to me. A lot of based on like the foundation of what I do. So it's important for me to show you guys just a little bit about what a Kebulan has done for itself and what motivates me to keep going and why I want to stay east when it comes to opening up the pizzeria. So,
Alkebulan Village specializes in children's programming. Upstairs, there's a labyrinth of activity spaces, a martial arts studio, a small fitness center, a dance studio, a room full of vinyls and DJ decks, and on the ground floor, there's a large roller rink just outside the kitchen. On the weekends, this is where Brittany serves pizza under the name Village Pizza, selling 60 to 100 pies each week. In exchange for the use of the space, she leads culinary training for some of the older kids.
They came in between the ages of like 13 and 15 when we started the business, and I had to help prep on Friday nights, Saturdays, and I would teach them how to make dough. I would show them my recipe. I would explain hydration to them.
Detroit-style pizza uses a high hydration dough, meaning the dough is wet and sticky, giving it its signature pillowy, airy thickness.
I would explain what each category of the dough recipe would mean. Some of them would shred cheese, some of them would fold boxes, and then actual day of operation, some of them are taking orders, they're cutting pizzas, they're learning the full business, as I was, on how to run a business. And so they were paid a stipend every single time they touched the kitchen. And now with me having more comfort level, all of that kind of runs through Is Food Detroit with the help of a Kebulan bringing the youth.
Brittany has scaled back on the youth involvement a bit as she looks toward buying her own space. She's actually raising money right now to open a pizzeria called Roots and Dough, which would fulfill some of her childhood dreams. I want to go back. You mentioned as a kid loving pizza from a very young age. What are your pizza memories?
So my mom's sister, who's now passed, Aunt Ruth, there were 6 of them. They told you they came from Mississippi. And Uncle Archie, my uncle had gotten a little sick working in the factories like many people's Detroit stories are. And there was a lump sum of money he was given from getting sick. Some type of chemical from working in the factory had impacted his lung system. And what he did with the money is he decided to buy 25 acres of land in Metamora, Michigan. So every single weekend, my uncle and my aunt raised me on the weekend. It would be a Friday night. Saturday mornings I would wake up to the sound of the lawnmower, him somehow, some way cutting 25 acres of land. Wow. He'd come back in the house. We'd have telling you this because it's so funny. We have a big breakfast. We'd have grits. We'd have oatmeal, eggs, turkey sausage, turkey bacon, water, juice, milk, and then we'd go into town and we'd go to the tractor store. And then we'd go further into Lapeer and we'd go to maybe a couple other stores and then we'd end at Kmart. And inside of Kmart, there was always in the 90s a Little Caesars. This Little Caesars used to have a small version of the Crazy Bird. You could get a small or a large. It came in like a little tiny bag. And then you could get what they call now the hot and readies, right? Yeah. And that's what we would eat. After eating that big-ass breakfast, we'd somehow, some way make room to digest a pizza and some Crazy Bread. So it's nostalgic for me just because of how I grew up and what being in that type of environment meant to me. Just enjoying time with kind of like my dad, which was my uncle by marriage, and how much time he invested in me, and Little Caesars Pizza.
Now Brittany's putting a healthier spin on her favorite childhood meal. The menu at Village Pizza is almost entirely vegan, with pizzas like the No Swine Hawaiian, topped with pineapple, green peppers, onion, and seitan bacon, or the Beyond Supreme, with Beyond ground beef, mushrooms, green peppers, and onion. There's a few non-vegan options for those that want them, but vegan is at the heart of what Village Pizza is. I'm so curious, why vegan food?
My mom being like very health conscious early on, it carried over into me. I gained a lot of weight in college my senior year, and I was like, I'm cutting everything out. Like, I'm cutting meat out, I'm cutting bread out, I'm cutting everything out until I can figure out how to get my weight under control. And when I went back to filtering things back into my diet, one of the things that I did not miss was chicken, turkey, or fish. Growing up in a household where we just ate tons of vegetables, it was kind of like instinctual at that point, to become vegan.
But what about like the cheese and butter and other dairy products out there, milk?
I will tell you that milk was probably one of the first things on the vegan scene that was easy. You always had soy milk, you always had almond milk. The last thing for me was cheese. I hated giving up cheese pizza. The cheese on pizza was super hard to give up, and I was like, I won't be vegan if that means I can't eat cheese on pizza. And then when I started the business, I said to myself, well, if you're going to make a good vegan pizza, you got to stop eating cheese pizza. And once I learned that vegan cheese is not the same as dairy cheese at all, that process became a little bit easier.
Okay, vegan cheese is a polarizing product, to be honest. It's made from plant-based ingredients like nuts, soy, or vegetable oils. It can be grainier than dairy cheese, missing that sharp tang, buttery richness, and satisfying melt that defines the real thing. Though some versions come surprisingly close. So have you found a cheese that works for you?
Yep, I have. What we do, we use a variety of different brands. The first step, like I said, the 10th commandment of vegan food is that vegan cheese is not dairy cheese. It's just not the same. I don't look for a cheese pool. Like, if I want to be on Instagram and I want a lot of followers and I don't want anybody to come buy food, I'll give you a cheese pool all day with vegan cheese. But if I want people to come back and eat vegan pizza and enjoy the vegan pizza, then I'm going to use the least amount of vegan cheese as my base, which is a Via Life. If we're using a cheddar, we use a different type of cheese. Our Parmesan is a different brand. When we put the feta cheese on salads, it's a different brand. So each, depending on what I'm looking for, I'm using a different brand of cheese.
Right. It's time for a break. When we come back, Brittany sells us on vegan pizza.
So this is barbecue sauce. We're doing our Harper Ave pizza, which is a jackfruit inspired pie. I don't want to call it a barbecue chicken pizza. It's our barbecue smoked jackfruit pizza.
Stick around. Be right back. Local journalism means being committed to the issues and the communities we cover on Michigan Public. Now more than ever, your support for local journalism is essential. If you received an email asking you to renew your support for Michigan Public, we hope you'll take a moment to respond. Go to michiganpublic.org/donate. Together, we'll keep reliable, community-focused programming strong. We joined Brittany in the kitchen for a taste of her take on Detroit style. If you're not familiar yet, imagine a thick and airy dough, but not quite deep dish, seasoned with oregano, and an outer crust coated in melted crispy cheese. That lacy caramelized part is called the frico and topped with sweet red sauce. Brittany says getting the dough right is critical and consistency is the key.
Are you using the same process every single time you touch the kitchen? Because the dough is naturally alive and it's going to be different almost every time. But you as the operator, you as the chef have to try to control the dough as much as you can by being consistent. So for me, Detroit style pizza starts with a little bit of avocado oil spray for me to get my pan nice and hydrated. I like to use an already seasoned pan from Lloyd's. I like to let my dough proof after we mix it. I let it sit for 30 minutes in a little tub. From there, we cut it, we scale it. We know exactly how many ounces are in a small. We know exactly how many ounces are in a large. And from there, we pan them out. And then we lid them up. And then we come back to it until we get to that corner. If it's not touching the corner, it is not ready. Once it touches the corner, we put the lid back on it and we let it sit for an hour, hour and a half. Once it gets to that half line right there, we know it's ready to go.
Beautiful, beautiful. It smells. It already smells wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, let's get in there. So,
what pizza are you making? What is your signature dish, and what are you making for us today?
So this is barbecue sauce. We're doing our Harper Ave pizza, which is a jackfruit inspired pie. I don't want to call it a barbecue chicken pizza. It's our barbecue smoked jackfruit pizza, which is, like a barbecue chicken pizza.
Right.
We got some jackfruit that we marinated.
For those who don't know what jackfruit is, can you give us a little explainer?
Yep. I want to say it's from Thailand. I feel like it is at least robust in Thailand. It is a fruit that when it's young, it's green. And instead of, it hasn't quite ripened. So it's not sweet. So it's a perfect type of replacement for chicken.
Brittany, it looks just like chicken.
That's funny.
I mean, the way it's shredding, the way that you've cooked it, it looks like, kind of charred a little bit at the top.
Yep. To be honest with you, that's the goal, is how you prepare it. It can be hit or miss for some people, but it's all in the preparation. You marinating it. If you're getting it out of the can, which most people do, is ensuring that you're getting the brine out, flavoring it, giving it flavor, showing love to it. I'm putting a lot on here just so that you guys can taste it, of course.
Yeah. She tops off the Harper Ave pizza with red onion, vegan bacon, and a very light sprinkling of 2 types of vegan cheese, and pops it in the oven. Meanwhile, Brittany's mother, Beverly, deep fries a side dish of battered oyster mushrooms.
So, have you had oyster mushrooms before?
No, tell me about them.
Well, everybody has a different way of doing them, but she and I both are vegans, and I used to be alkaline, so there were very few foods that I could eat. And I became interested in oyster mushrooms through Dr. Sebi. And I just started making them, and she liked them, and she said, why can't we just bring them to the village and just include them in the menu? So that's what we did. So people seem to like it.
So tell me about working here with your daughter in this kitchen.
It is so amazing because when she was younger, the only thing Brittany wanted to do was to cook salmon on a grill. I could not get her in the kitchen, so it's so amazing to see that she's interested in cooking. So it feels great being with her while she's cooking. Yes. I'm extremely proud of her, extremely proud. That's all I have to say. I'm proud of my baby.
Okay, so tell us what we have here, Brittany.
So we got oyster mushrooms, Harper Ave pizza, jackfruit, vegan, barbecue. We have dough puffs, garlic parm, garlic butter, cinnamon. We have a Bianca style pizza, roasted mushrooms, arugula, pesto pepperoni.
The pesto pepperoni, that looks yummy. This bread, that tastes like cheese, cheddar cheese.
Does it?
That's another thing I love about this pizza is it's not too heavy. Sometimes Detroit style, you have one slice and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
It just sits in your stomach. And this is so light. Like I can eat 2 or 3
This is
of
all
these.
for you guys.
It is so delicious. I feel like I'm indulging in pizza, but it's healthy. It's healthier.
Yes.
Pizza, you go to New York City, it's a big city, big pizza city, and you see Detroit style places all over the place now. What do you think of the rise of Detroit style pizza just around the world?
So I took my only vacation I've taken this year, and I went to Hawaii, and there was a Detroit style pizza there. It's amazing. It's all over. It's in Paris, it's in Colorado, it's in Tennessee.
Do you think Detroiters have a real allegiance to this Detroit style the way New Yorkers do, or is it all over the place? No.
Not yet. I think a lot of Detroiters are still finding we're still finding our identity in a lot of ways. I think that Motown for us is the music, the factories, the cars, the architecture. I think from a culinary perspective, there's so much dynamic because Detroit is similar to New York in the fact that it's a mixing bowl of type of people. like, again, Middle Eastern food is so big here. There's an Asian food scene here that is impeccable, even Jamaican scene. And then not knowing that pizza has been in the background, I think it confuses Detroiters. They go and eat Jets, not even knowing that that's a simulation of Detroit-style pizza. They know Buddy's, right? Oh, the original Buddy's is on 6 Mile. But they don't realize that is called Detroit-style pizza. So I think that we're starting to understand that and appreciate the title of it. I think we love it and eat it, but I don't think we're noticing that it's our style as much as the rest of the world.
So Brittany has 2 big missions in her business model: solidifying Detroit's place in the pizza pantheon and adding to its possibilities with a vegan spin. This is what Roots and Dough will do when she has a brick-and-mortar location of her own. I know you got 2 big fundraisers coming up this summer to help you with a brick-and-mortar space. Yes. That is so exciting. Can you tell us what you're planning?
So I'm planning to stay east, like I told you guys, outside, and we're looking to close on a building within the next 2 months, so by summer, so that we can be open by March of 2026. So a vegan-centered pizzeria, carry-out driven, but still have spacing for you to come and sit down, like a little diner style. Grab your slice, sit and eat it. Open up your computer, do your work, out the door. Be very community-centered. East, I think, has a lot of opportunity for restaurants. A lot of people are doing great things for developing homes, businesses. So the next step is coffee shops, pizzerias.
That is super exciting. Okay, I have a wild card question for you.
Let's do it.
If you could sit down and share a slice with anyone, living or not, who would it be, and what kind of pizza would you serve?
Uncle Archie, the guy who raised me, where we would get pizza every Saturday. I would definitely have a slice with him. And it would probably be, I would make him eat some vegan pepperoni pizza. I think he'd meet me in the middle there and try some vegan pepperoni pizza. Sit down, talk about the past, have him look at me and tell me how proud he is of me, and just have a conversation about where I want to go.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Of course.
Brittany's hoping to close on a building in the next couple of months with the goal of launching Roots and Dough, a pizzeria of her own, next spring. James Oliver Coffee Company in Corktown will host a fundraiser for the project on Saturday, June 21st. There's going to be dinner, cocktails, and raffle prizes. All the ticket details are linked in our show notes. Thank you so much to Brittany March of It's Food Detroit, to her mom, and to Uncle Archie for taking the family out for Little Caesars.
I'm Brittany March with It's Food Detroit, and that's the dish.
Don't forget, you can always find bonus photos and videos from our travels at michiganpublic.org/thedish, and on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Michigan Public. Is there a culinary creative we should get to know in your area? If so, please tell us about them. You can send your tips to the dish at michiganpublic.org. Today's episode was produced by Ronia Kabansag, with editing from Laura Weber Davis and myself, Mercedes Mejia. Music on today's episode comes from Blue Dot Sessions. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.